The obsidian council chamber stretched before Flynn like the maw of some ancient beast, its walls carved from volcanic glass that reflected the flickering blue flames of ceremonial braziers. 7 dragon elders sat in judgment, their massive forms coiled upon pedestals of carved stone, scales gleaming like armor forged in dying stars. Flynn stood at the chamber's center, a human no taller than a dragon's foreclaw, yet his spine remained unbent. "You presume much, human," rumbled Corvash, eldest of the council. His scales were the color of tarnished silver, each one bearing the scars of countless battles. "To ask for the claw of our princess." Flynn met the dragon's burning amber gaze without flinching. "I presume nothing, elder." A collective hiss rippled through the chamber. Smoke curled from flared nostrils. But Flynn had faced worse than reptilian disapproval. He had faced the void itself. 3 cycles earlier, Flynn had been chief engineer aboard the human vessel Wanderer's Hope, part of the first expeditionary fleet into the scorched expanse, a region of space where even starlight seemed to burn with rage. They had received a distress beacon, ancient and alien, pulsing with mathematical urgency. Against all protocol, Captain Torres had ordered an investigation. They found a dragon ship, the Eternal Flame, crippled and drifting. Its quantum drives had collapsed, creating a micro-singularity that was slowly consuming the vessel from within. The dragon crew had hours at best. Rescue was impossible. Their technology was incompatible. Their biology too different. The human crew could only watch as the proud serpentine beings prepared for death with stoic dignity. All except one. Nala had refused to accept death. The Dragon Princess, youngest daughter of the Crimson Dynasty, had done what no dragon had done in 10,000 years. She had asked humans for help. "Your ship is dying," Flynn had told her through the crackling communication link, his voice steady despite the insanity of what he was about to propose. "But your crew doesn't have to." "The radiation will kill you," Nala had responded, her synthesized voice carrying both authority and anguish. Flynn had smiled then, though she couldn't see it. What followed was a dance at the edge of physics and biology. Flynn, encased in a makeshift radiation suit that would last minutes at best, working inside a dying ship, while a dragon he'd never met coiled her body around him, her natural resistance to radiation forming a living shield. Her scales had burned. Her blood had boiled. But she had held position while Flynn's hands had moved with desperate precision, rerouting power, collapsing the micro-singularity in a controlled implosion that had left his bones vibrating for days afterward. When it was done, when the Eternal Flame pulsed back to life and her crew drew breath they thought they'd never taste again, Nala had looked at Flynn with eyes like molten gold and spoken words that would change both their lives forever. "You are brave, little human. Brave and clever." Now, standing before the Obsidian Council, those words echoed in the chamber's silence. "The princess has not claimed him," Corvash declared, his voice like grinding stone. "She was delirious from pain, from radiation poisoning." "I am no one's prey," Flynn said quietly, but his voice carried. And Nala made her choice with clear mind and burning heart. "You know nothing of our ways," another elder snapped, her emerald scales bristling. "The claiming ritual requires—" "Blood shared in battle," Flynn interrupted. "Life exchanged for life. A bond forged in fire and sealed in sacrifice. I know your ways, Elder Shara. Nala taught me." Corvash roared, and the chamber shook. Flynn challenged. "I bled aboard that ship. I felt Nala's lifeblood burn against my skin as she shielded me. We stared into death together and emerged transformed." Silence fell like a hammer. Several elders shifted uncomfortably, smoke rising in agitated plumes. "You cannot even breathe the same air for long," Corvash said, but his voice had lost its certainty. "How would you build a life?" The same way humans have always done the impossible. A new voice rang through the chamber, clear and fierce and utterly unafraid. Nala swept into the chamber, her crimson scales catching the firelight like captured stars. She was smaller than the elders, but carried herself with undeniable authority. She moved directly to Flynn's side, her massive form coiling protectively around him, an unmistakable claiming posture that made several elders recoil. "You debate my choice as if I were hatchling," Nala said, her golden eyes blazing. "But I am princess of the Crimson Dynasty. I have walked between stars. I have faced death and survived. And I have chosen Flynn not despite his humanity, but because of it." She lowered her massive head until she was level with Flynn, and he reached out without hesitation, placing his hand on her snout, a gesture of intimacy that made the elders gasp. "Dragons pride themselves on strength," Nala continued. "But this human rewrote the laws of physics in a dying ship, while his body screamed in agony. Dragons pride themselves on honor. But this human risked everything for strangers he'd never met, asking nothing in return." Her voice rose to a challenging roar. "I say we have spent 10,000 years believing ourselves superior while stagnating in our arrogance." Corvash stared at the princess, then at Flynn, then at the unprecedented sight of human and dragon standing together, unmovable. Finally, the ancient dragon sighed, smoke billowing. "The claiming cannot be undone. This is law. But know this, human, you have not won approval." Flynn smiled. "You are insufferable," Corvash muttered. "He is perfect," Nala corrected, and the warmth in her voice could have ignited atmospheres. As they left the obsidian chamber together, Flynn reached up to touch Nala's scaled neck, feeling the steady pulse of her alien heart. "Your family hates me," he observed. "They will learn," Nala assured him. "Humans have a way of making the impossible seem inevitable." Flynn laughed, the sound echoing through ancient halls where human laughter had never been heard before. Behind them, the elders watched, and though none would admit it, several felt something they hadn't experienced in centuries. Hope, and perhaps, just perhaps, the first stirrings of respect.